Welcome back. A new report by the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee is blaming the Office of Personnel Management for the massive 2014 hacking. The Chinese government is said to be behind the cyber attack, which affected more than 21 million personal documents of current, former, and prospective government employees. Joining us now on what firewalls should have been in place is Joe Grano. He is the former UBS Paine-Webber chairman and currently the chairman and CEO of Route 9B, a cybersecurity firm. Joe, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks so much for joining us. So your reaction to that hack?
Well, I think it's one of the most serious issues facing America. The sovereign state-sponsored hacking that's going on is very prevalent. They started out going after U.S. government. Now they're segueing into commercial side. If you were to ask and answer the following question, what do J.P. Morgan Chase, Home Depot, Target, Sony, IRS all have in common? It's not that they just got hacked. It's that despite spending $1 billion on their firewalls, they were exploited. So what it says is, as a country, we have to take a whole new level of protection. Very, very serious.
Yeah.
And what do companies and corporations need to budget for this type of expenditure? What should they start to think about?
Well, last year Morgan Stanley spent $280 million. I understand that Bank of America is going to spend $400 million.
Jamie Dimon told me a couple of years ago he would eventually probably spend $1 billion, close to $1 billion.
I agree, and a higher percentage of their revenues are going to go in terms of defense. But the real issue here is you need a mano-a-mano human being who really understands the attacker. And the best that we have in America came primarily out of NSA. There are what's called 35 or so journeymen, the best that America has in terms of subject matter expertise. Fortunately for us, we have 25 of the 35 at my company, 70% of them. But the challenge is we have to train our CISOs and our CTOs. They have never been trained in cyber. They're very, very talented people, create a network, give me a process to transact transactions. Now they have to be trained in cyber. So Cyber Command itself in the United States have announced that they want to train 6,000 more people in terms of countering cyber attacks.
So we need basically a new generation of hackers to guard the hen house. That's what we really need.
That is correct.
Right.
Because it's the human component. You have to combine proprietary software, hardware, and a human component that understands the data. We have a center in Colorado Springs called the Adversarial Pursuit Center, where we can surveil your enterprise 24/7 with one of these operators who can look at 10 corporations and tell you, oh, something's amiss here.
So they see patterns. They see patterns of activity,
exactly.
And they spot them.
Absolutely.
Right.
But how long are we talking about, Joe, to be safe? And will we ever be 100% secure because we're so far behind?
Well, again, I think that this is an issue that's not going to go away. And a new exploitation that takes place, fortunately for us, because we train, the Air Force will come in and say, look, this is a new problem. Help us solve it. And it's an ongoing process. I do think, though, that we will, as a country, we'll rise ourselves to the situation. We'll be able to go mano-a-mano. But again, the automated firewalls that we've been deploying as a nation, both in the government and in the commercial sector, any defense is better than none, but they're inadequate. You have to integrate with the human component.
So let's talk about the bad actors, Russia, China. On Monday, President Obama and Vladimir Putin had what looked to be a tense meeting. Look at the looks on their faces.
True.
This was on the sidelines of the G20 in China. This coming as officials are investigating a potential covert Russian operation that could disrupt the November elections. Do you believe this? Could the 2016 election be compromised by hackers coming out of Russia?
I don't know about the word compromise, but certainly they're going to try to influence with bogus data and information and create some excitement throughout the situation. Look, even the president has said, I'm going to increase the budget by 10% to try to deal with these issues, but we haven't done enough as a nation. Like I said, the NSA is probably our core defense relative to sovereign states.
Is it part of that, attracting and retaining top talent? I mean, we have visa issues. It's trying to get people that actually do have the skills and capabilities to actually do what you're talking about.
Kevin, we don't have enough of them, frankly.
Okay?
Yeah. And in our situation, for instance, because competition sees that they have to have this integrated model, they're moving to that, which makes our people susceptible to getting hired away, correct?
Well, you only have 35. You said that you're one for the whole nation. That scares me. That's a small number.
But we're just a small little company. Hopefully we can answer that differently in a couple of years. But I do believe that we will rise to the occasion, because when you look guys like Jamie Dimon, who you mentioned, they get it. They understand it. And I think it's a topic in every boardroom in the United States. But I think the real issue is our government has been dealing with state-sponsored hackers for decades. Now, however, the segue is into the commercial sector, where they want your IP, where they want your identity, they want to disintermediate the money. And now as the world goes to, for instance, mobile payment systems with a telephone, that's
makes it even that much more difficult.
Create tremendous issues in terms of disintermediation.
Yeah. Joe, great to have you on the show. Thanks so much for your insights.
My pleasure.
Joe Grano there.